Everyone fears one of the deadliest diagnoses in medicine, pancreatic cancer. But what if we could find pancreatic cancer much earlier, before there was even a mass present? This exact scenario just happened. In a recently published article in the journal Gut, AI was able to find occult changes related to cancer in the pancreas 475 days earlier than radiologists, even before there was any mass present. AI shows real promise in the diagnosis of cancer. And this can be found on imaging when we aren't even looking in the first place. The PANDA model, which was published in Nature Medicine in 2023, showed that AI could detect pancreatic cancer in non-contrast CT scans. These are really basic scans that millions of people get for other reasons. Things like kidney stones, abdominal pain, other things like this. This outperformed radiologists by 34% in sensitivity. So AI could potentially find pancreatic cancer on a scan that someone's already had for a completely unrelated reason. And this is not just with imaging. This has been found with EKGs looking at heart rhythms. AI was able to recognize findings 1 to 2 years earlier than humans. Similar findings are being noted in chronic kidney disease, infectious disease, other heart rhythm issues. But what if we could find cancer even earlier than this, in the blood with a liquid biopsy? So currently, if we're concerned that somebody has cancer, it can take a long time to find it. If we find the first clue, we a lot of times have to follow up with a CAT scan, then maybe a follow-up PET scan, which can take a couple weeks to set up. Then after all of that, maybe a biopsy in which they have to meet the surgeon first, then schedule the biopsy, and on and on. This process can take a long time. Then the pathologist has to review the results of the biopsy, and just on and on. Sometimes it can take a long time to establish the diagnosis. But what if we didn't need any of this? We just needed a simple lab test, which could find cancer much earlier and less invasively, and perhaps weeks and months before a mass is even there in the first place, as a screening tool. Liquid biopsies have the potential to do this. When cells die or when they're replicating very rapidly, like in cancer, they release pieces of DNA that float outside of the cells and can be seen by clinicians. This is called cell-free DNA, or cfDNA, and it can indicate that cancer is present. It's kind of like a crime scene of a murder where detectives are looking at different shoe prints. What brand, what size, how old, how many different types are there? Are there any accomplices? The liquid biopsy is like this. It can give us an idea of which cancer, how much is there, has it spread to other parts of the body? Now, there are many applications of this. The biggest that I think all of us want to know is that, can it screen for cancer before there is any sign? The first look test from Delphi Diagnostics is designed to screen for those who have smoked and are over 50 years old. In the Delphi L101 trial, it had a negative predictive value of 99.8% and an overall sensitivity of 80%, which is very promising. Another trial screening for liver cancer with Oncoguard Liver with Exact Sciences achieved 88% overall sensitivity, 82% sensitivity for early stage disease, and a specificity of 87%. So it does show a lot of promise, but currently has not been successful at the highest level of accuracy. But researchers are working hard to make this a reality, and there are many other applications that are coming forth. For example, want an easy way to see if cancer is truly gone and not just lurking in the shadows after treatment, or if it's going to come back? In one trial after stage 2 colon cancer was treated, if cfDNA was present, a patient was 18 times more likely to have a recurrence of cancer. And this is much better than completing treatment, getting chemotherapy, going to an imaging facility, having a PET scan with radiation risk, then doing it again in 6 months and finding cancer again. Instead, a simple blood test could be all that is needed. And the truth is, people with cancer are already suffering enough. This would make their lives much easier, and it would help treatment be much more effective in the future. So there are many potential applications of this which can transform cancer care in the future. And when this is combined with genetics, an entirely new framework of treating cancer emerges. But how can we use this to fix some of the problems that we're experiencing today? So right now in medicine, we treat every single person the same way. We base most of our treatments on age, and when you really think about it, this is not the best approach. And that's because there's different types of aging. One is called chronological aging, which most of us are familiar with. It simply counts how many years someone has. But have you ever looked at somebody and thought that they look much younger or older than their stated age? That's because this definition is very imprecise and arbitrary, and it misses what aging really is. If you had two different cars, both bought in 2020, one which is cleaned and oiled and maintained and used regularly, and the other one which was abandoned in the woods and is all rusted out, are they really the same age? We all know that they are not, and we can think of examples of people which exemplify this. Biological aging attempts to measure actual aging, and if we all thought like this, it could save lives. The New England Journal recently published an editorial talking about a patient who was 86 years old and very healthy. He ended up developing a condition which required a blood thinner, but solely based off the fact that he was 86 years old. His clinician said that he was frail and shouldn't be on a blood thinner in case he fell. This patient died of a stroke, and this blood thinner could have saved his life. If the clinician would have just looked past his chronologic age and realized he would strongly benefit from this blood thinner, he could have been alive today potentially. And he could have had many healthy years in front of him. I mean, who knows? If we had a better way to evaluate patients' true biological age, this would be entirely different. And herein lies the problem. The majority of cancer screenings are offered based off someone's age instead of their true risk. Every person gets screened for breast cancer with mammograms and colon cancer with colonoscopies, primarily based off of age. Wouldn't it be better to know someone's true risk of getting a specific cancer so we wouldn't have to just needlessly screen people with colonoscopies that don't need them? And that is why the new model of medicine, which medicine is advancing towards, is precision medicine. This brand of medicine is designed to account for all of these different variations in our genes, environment, health, and make diagnosis and treatment much more efficient. And this won't just save lives for older people, but for younger people as well. There are the tragic cases of those of Chadwick Boseman and James Vanderbeek, both diagnosed with colon cancer at very young ages. Chadwick Boseman was diagnosed around 39 to 40, well before we typically screen for colon cancer. Now, not all of the details of his case are listed publicly, but very likely knowing his genetics much earlier in life could have helped clinicians treat his cancer much more efficiently. If we had known his true risk, maybe looking at his genetics early in life, it could help us risk stratify patients better. Medicine in the future will be like this. It will be based off the individual and not just arbitrary measures like age, but their true risk from their genetics. And this is becoming easier than ever to do. When the first sequencing of the human genome took place in 2001, it took nearly 13 years and cost about $2.7 billion. But now, sequencing the genome takes place in a matter of hours at a small fraction of the cost. With the advances in genetics, scientists are able to track which genes cause cancer, but now they can see a person's risk of getting cancer years before it ever shows up. It's like at that same crime scene, instead of waiting for the culprits to show up, it's like police are told their plans and know the description of the hideout of the intruder. And when this is done right, it has the power to prevent cancer from doing nearly any harm, as we've seen in chronic myeloid leukemia, or CML. In 1973, Janet Rowley identified the exact genetic instructions which went haywire in patients with CML. The drug Gleevec was designed to correct for this faulty mechanism in the BCR-ABL gene. This tiny alteration changed CML from a death sentence, which took the lives of tens of thousands of people, to something that people just more or less live with and suffer no significant issues from. And this is the hope for medicine in the future. Find cancer early, know who's at risk, and find a highly effective treatment. The truth is, the landscape of diagnosing and treating cancer continues to evolve. I have told many patients that they have cancer, and oftentimes it's the hardest part of my job. But even in the 9 years that I've been practicing, there's been a significant shift towards improved outcomes, better screenings, and better treatments available. And I think that the future of medicine does look very promising. Liquid biopsies can catch cancer much earlier, and they can help us tailor treatments more efficiently, seeing which are working best and if cancer is coming back. Precision medicine will help us know people's true risk far earlier, following those who need careful monitoring and not wasting time screening others who are at low risk. So which of these innovations do you guys find the most interesting? Leave your comments below, and thank you guys so much for checking out my video. Take care.